Hello, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live on Wednesdays with the Sophisticated Abode. I'm Dana Tisdale. For those of you that don't know me, that are new, welcome. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to hop on, hopefully. This week we are going to talk about how to create that hotel luxe look at home. The elements that are needed that are consistent with all luxury hotel design. So I am still trying to conquer the technology. So I think I'm getting a little better. But I bought these glasses. I've had this issue with these, with the glare on the screen, from the screen. And I know when I'm watching people, it is a little distracting when you see either the ring light in the glasses or the screen of the reflection. So I bought these because they were supposed to be anti-glare and anti-reflective, and they still aren't. So I'll just keep on trying. If anybody has any suggestions, please send them to me, please. How is everybody's summer going? It's coming to an end. I can't believe it. It just went by so fast. And for those of you that don't know me, I am in the Houston area, and it's been pretty hot. It hasn't, I don't think that I have heard that it's gotten over 100 degrees, but it sure has felt like it because we have such humidity and we've had a lot of rain. So it has felt like a sauna. And I mean, the positive part about that is that it keeps our grasses and our trees and everything very green and lush. But woof, trying to combat frizzy hair is a lifelong struggle. So leave me a comment below in the comment section about where you've been on vacation. I'd love to hear about it. I'm gonna tell you my story of woe in a minute and what it kind of inspired this week's Facebook Live session at the Sophisticated Abode. I am having a hard time getting used to the mirror image of when you film yourself. It's not comfortable. It's not normal yet, so hopefully we'll get there. Well, it is that time, and again, welcome to the Sophisticated Abode. My name is Dana Tisdale. I'm an interior designer, decorator in the Houston area. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that know me, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. I had a trip scheduled to go to Calgary, Canada, Alberta, Canada, to see one of my best friends, Ann Gage, whom I haven't seen since before the pandemic. And when the Canadian border opened up last week, I jumped at the chance to go, and I am the type of person that wants to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row. I mean, we talked about it last time on my session. You know, I'm a project manager. I have been a project manager in oil and gas, and and that is a big part of my interior design business, is just being able to manage a project plan. And so you got to know that I tried to do everything to make this trip as smooth and stress-free as possible, especially with all of the additional requirements that you had to have to travel. And so I was flying through United and Air Canada, which is a Star Alliance airline, and United advertised that they were partnering up with this eMed company to do at-home COVID testing. And so, silly me, I guess I assumed that because they were doing that they were saying that it was acceptable as a form of COVID testing, which is what was a requirement to get into Canada. And so I did my COVID testing, and it came out negative, and I uploaded it into the United app. I uploaded it into ArriveCan, which is the border control app for Canada. I went so far as to fly through Phoenix, and at the Air Canada desk, the gate agent looked at my test results and accepted them. I get to Calgary and I find out I've taken the wrong test. I took the antigen test instead of the molecular test. And so I was caught off guard, to say the least. And I mean, this is at 8:30 at night or so. And I said, so they said, well, you have to quarantine here for 14 days. And I said, no, that's not going to work for me. I have a business. I have a dog that I don't have anybody to take care of that long. So what are my other options? They said, well, you can get right back on a plane and go back home. Well, this is at 8:30. So I did not, there weren't any flights going out. So, and I had to take another COVID test to get back into the United States. So I went back the next day. So that was a very short trip. It was good to see my friend for at least a few hours, but anyway, so I hadn't taken off much in the way of vacation time in many years, even before the pandemic. And so I decided that when I got back, I was going to just use the time that I had requested off to have a staycation. And so for the last few days, I have been taking little day trips. I went to the beach in Galveston with my little dog. That was kind of a test on how well he travels. And then yesterday, my mother and I went to this drive-through safari that is about 2 hours away from where I live. And that was fun. But it got me to thinking about whenever, this was already in my list of content to cover on these Facebook Lives, but it seems timely now as, what you miss out what I missed out by, not having staying at a hotel and having all of that pampering that you get whenever you're in a hotel, but ways that we can create that in our everyday life at home. And what makes luxury hotel in particular, the interior design for hotels, just so inviting and luxurious and pampering. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, but before we go on to that, I just wanted to recap that last week we talked about, I went over Pinterest as a tool to collect your ideas and as a form of communication between you and somebody else. I use Pinterest as a tool to communicate visually between myself and my clients. It helps me to understand their likes and their taste, and it also gives them an opportunity for me to pin things to their boards to see whether they like my ideas or not. It's kind of an interactive mood board, and it's just very powerful. And I also went over the fact that you can create subboards in the Pinterest board. You can have an overarching board about the house in general, and then you can create subboards for each room. And I find that very helpful to organize instead of having, a bunch of pins and not knowing, well, what colors were you what were you thinking this room was for? Or this, bedding was for. And so it allows you to organize your thoughts that way. The other thing we covered was the fact that there is a plugin or an extension for Chrome that allows you to pin in Pinterest from any website. So if you're on Restoration Hardware, you can, and you like something, you can just hit the little P for Pinterest, and then you can select the board you want to pin it to. So if you don't use Pinterest for your home decorating and design, then I check it out. It's very powerful. And the other thing we talked about is this is a little crusade of mine, and it is that I really feel like everybody needs a sacred space of their own. And especially most of us in here are women. There may be a few guys in here. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be sexist, but I do know that most of the people in here are women, and we tend to put everybody else first. And I really am going to advocate for you and everybody else, myself, that if you don't have a little bit of a space that you can call your own, that you can have it set up the way you want to, you can retreat when you want to get away from everybody else, be alone with your own thoughts, then do it. I mean, I was talking about one of my friends who has decided that she's going to use an extra bathroom that's got a little sitting area, and that's where she's going to go. And first thing before she, this is kind of her reentry period between sleeping and entering the world, drink her coffee and read her devotional and just kind of ease into the day without being hit by, everybody pulling at her one way or the other. So the other thing I am really on a kick about is I really do believe that interior design and interior decorating is a form of healing modality, just like it would be sound therapy, music therapy, color therapy, talk therapy, Reiki, whatever. I mean, I really believe that if you can set your environment up around you to where it really appeals to you, whether that means that you've set it up to inspire you by some bright colors and some, fantastic art that gets your creative juices flowing, or if you want to make it very serene and something that's very peaceful and is not, pulling at you in any way, then it's healing. It is a healing form of energy for you. So that's what we talked about last week. Next week, we're going to talk about collecting things and then how to display those collections, and a little bit of philosophy about why as humans we collect things. It's kind of interesting. So I hope you'll join me for that. And that will finish out August. And then in September, we're going to start a design style series. And if you have not already taken the free design style quiz, I have one on my website. Let me display that for you. You can take the free design style quiz at DanaLynnDesigns.com. And we will be talking about the individual design styles, where you can shop for them, the elements that go into those design styles. And then we're going to start talking about combining design styles, because most people don't have just one design style. They have a primary design style and maybe a secondary design style, or they live with somebody else who has a different design style from them. And in order to have a harmonious home, part of my job is marriage counselor, I gotta tell you. And it's always people who are opposite personalities that live together. So not always, but most of the time. So anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about each individual's design style and then how to combine different design styles together. So I hope you'll join me for that in September. So let's get on to Hotel Luxe at home. So, hold on just a sec. Switch the view on that. All right, so if you're just now joining me, welcome to the Sophisticated Abode. Today we're going to talk about Hotel Luxe at Home and how the elements that go into interior design for basically all hotels, but especially luxurious high-end hotels. Okay. All right, so the first element is when you go into a high-end hotel, you generally have multiple living areas. So they want you to be comfortable. They want you to be able to get all of the things that you need to do done there, whether it is that you're there to work. They'll have a little writing desk or a work desk set up. There's usually at least a couple of side chairs and a lamp so that you can sit and read a magazine, read over the hotel magazines to see where you want to go. A lot of times there will be like a little living area that'll have like a little sofa and a side chair. But you'll find that there are different functional areas within the room. And what you can take away from that into your own room is, not that we all have the room to put all of those elements in, but if you do have an area where you can at least put a side chair with a lamp so that you can, sit over there and read if that's what you like to do. Maybe a bench at the base, at the foot of your bed. That is always helpful to sit down and put your shoes on. I know I unpack my suitcases on it before I put everything away. And so anyway, it just helps to have different functional areas so that everything is not focused on the bed. The second element to having the Hotel Luxe at Home is having high quality sheets and towels. I mean, we're really focused on the bedroom today and not the bathroom, but it goes hand in hand that if you have high quality sheets, I would go ahead and get high quality towels. Now, I know that at one point in time, the really high thread count was a big fad and a big tradition. I mean, a big trend, and I jumped on that too. But I don't really like that high of a thread count anymore, because this is what I don't like about it. It tends to dry out and get threadbare and dry rot from too many times in the dryer. So I kind of like a little bit of a lycra in my sheets, especially for the give. I have very, very tall mattresses, and so I need to be able to stretch them around the full height of the mattress. So I wouldn't go over about an 800 thread count. Tell me what you think. I've found some really high quality, good sheet sets on Amazon. I will look up what the name of those are and share it in the comments below. But and then towels. I actually found some really, really good Turkish towels that are Vera Wang collection at Kohl's. That they're the bath size, the biggest size towel you can get. I think it's $24.99, which is a really good price. Unless you really just want to use the sheet color as part of your color scheme, I suggest sticking with white. White is always good. White, especially if you have multiple bedrooms where you can interchange the sheets as needed. White is always a good choice. It looks crisp. You can add a little bleach if it gets dirty, and it's easy to clean up, where you don't have to worry about the bleach either fading the color of your sheets or discoloring it. So, and same thing with towels. White towels are always in style. So I would just spend a little bit more money, but there's a lot of them. If you go to TJ Maxx, there's like Ralph Lauren, or like I said, Amazon. Pottery Barn has very, very good sheet quality. They're a little bit pricier, but they are very nice quality sheets. So we've got use multiple functional areas in the room. If you can, have a sitting area, maybe a bench at the bottom of the bed, maybe a writing desk if you have the area, if you have the room in your room. I used to have a little sitting area off of my bedroom, but I don't anymore. The third element is multiple light sources. And this is one thing that I don't think we do enough of in our everyday life. You really need to do this, not just in the bedroom, but everywhere. You need to have different light sources accomplish different objectives. So if you have overhead lights, like say you have can lights, that's one thing. It gives light to the whole room, but it's not that flattering on your face. Bedside lamps are good because, they're down at the area where you might want to be reading or what have you. But also if you have a desk, put a lamp on the desk to be able to do that task lighting so that you see what you're doing. Maybe a floor lamp by the sitting area if you create a sitting area. But it just gives you the ability to illuminate and not illuminate different areas to create different moods. I should have put a slide in here about this, and you'll probably hear me talk about this again some other time, but I love to use these smart bulbs, and they're by a company called LifeX. And you can get them on Amazon, or you can get them straight from their website. And they've come out with different light bulbs since I started buying them. But it's a smart bulb. But what I love about it is it doesn't have to have a hub like the Philips Hue or some of those others. It goes off of your Wi-Fi. And what I love about it is that you can control the temperature. If you're in the bedroom, you don't really want to have bright white, on the blue side. That's very harsh and it's very hard on your eyes. It might be good for another application, but I would go on the warm side, and it allows you to actually mimic, an incandescent bulb, or even go warmer. Or if you want to be romantic and make it red or pink in the bedroom, or just, it allows you to have different kind of mood colors. And it reminds me of a hotel that I stayed in London, where the whole room was white. Everything was white. The walls were white. The bedding was white. All the furniture was white. And they had these strip lights along the base of the floor, kind of behind some molding. And you could control what color you wanted to kind of paint the room with. So you could paint the whole room pink, blue, teal, whatever. It was so cool. But then from the outside, looking at the hotel, it looked kind of like the Partridge Family bus, because everybody's room was different colors. So anyway, that was fun. So there's so many great technologies out there. This LifeX company also has recessed lighting bulbs now. I have them all over my house. And they also have bars that you could put, in cabinetry to where you could illuminate it and change the colors there as well. It's also a safety feature. I can turn the lights on or off from my phone from anywhere. So anyway, just a little side note plug for LifeX bulbs, or, get you some smart bulbs. They're really fun. So that's the third element, is multiple lighting sources. The fourth element is layering your window coverings. So in residential decoration now, we mainly use hard coverings anymore. I mean, like wood blinds, shutters, mini blinds, maybe some cellular shades or roll-up shades, depending upon, what style of decor you have. So that is one layer. Whereas people used to have curtains, lots of layers of curtains. But it's very luxurious when you go to a hotel, you'll have a set of sheers, and then you'll have a set of curtains. And you might even have another set that is a blackout curtain so that it completely allows you to block out all the sun so that you can sleep in late. But at the minimum, I would say if you have those hard goods, which is the wood blinds, the shutters, the cellular shades, then I would put at least two layers, if you will, of panels on either side, either stationary or functional. You can either pull them together or just keep them stacked back, outside of the window for the most, light coming in. But what really looks high end is not just going with one color, but either going with a solid color toward the inside of the window, and then maybe a pattern color panel, and you can stack those back, and you can attach them if you want them to stay attached, or if you're going to keep them stacked back. When I say stacked back, that just means pushed and gathered together. Nobody's going to be able to see whether they're attached or not, but it looks really, really luxurious. It looks very high end. The other thing that you can do is, and the other tip is, and I'm sure you've heard this by other people because I'm sure that you're into interior design, take all your curtains all the way up to the top of the ceiling if you can, or at least the bottom of the crown molding. And that really gives that vertical height to the room instead of kind of cutting it off and emphasizing the horizontal, because chances are you have a lot of horizontal lines going on in your room. I mean, your dresser is a horizontal line, your bed stands are a horizontal line, the bed is a horizontal plane. So it really helps to break up all of those horizontal planes to have vertical lines going up all the way to the ceiling. And it also lifts your eye up, so it makes the ceiling look higher. So another trick that you can do is if you're going to buy ready-made panels off the shelf, make sure you get enough though, because once you stack them back, like a 36-inch panel is only going to stack down to 12 inches, and that's going to look kind of dinky. So get two panels on either side, and that's going to be 24 inches, and it'll look nice and full and luxurious. But at the bottom third of those panels, you can either take this to a seamstress, or if you're handy with a sewing machine, take a pattern fabric and either attach it to the front of it and make the lower third of that panel have a pattern to it, or even a band. And just give some visual interest to it. You're going to hear that word, those words, that term for me over and over, visual interest. Because if everything is the same, it's just going to read flat. It's going to just, no matter how much money you throw against it, it will just be flat. You need to have some variety. Even if you want to go monochrome, you can have the same color palette, but just in a different texture or a tone on tone, and create a little visual interest. So that is the fourth element to Hotel Luxe at home, is using layered window coverings. The fifth one is using, and we just touched upon this when I was talking about the window coverings, but using Luxe Textures. So when you go into these high-end hotels, you will see them use silks. You will see them use leather. You will see them use grass cloth, wallpaper with textures. Nowadays, they even have wallpaper that's highly textured that it almost looks like tiles, but it's wallpaper. And like I said, if you're going for a monochromatic palette, that's great. I mean, that is such a soothing look, monochromatic, but it needs to be broken up by some different textures. So incorporate some of those, faux furs, the grass cloth, like I said, the leather, the silk or satin in your decor, and that is what brings it to that high end look. The other thing that I didn't put in here that I should have added, and this is just a bonus, we'll just say this is just a bonus. When you're trying to get that hotel luxe look, use big scale artwork. You don't go into a hotel room, especially these luxury hotel rooms, and see little dinky, pictures. Usually they're pretty grand in scale, and it just makes a high impact. Even if it's just one piece of one print or one painting, it's usually a statement piece. It could be over the bed, it could be over in the sitting room, over the sofa, but don't play small. If you want it to look luxe, go big. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Again, if you have not taken my design style quiz, go out there to Dana Lynn Designs and take that quiz, and we will be talking about that in September. Also, if you would like to work with me, please email me or PM me through Facebook Messenger at email me at dana@danalyndesigns.com. I would love to talk to you about your project. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Dana B. Tisdale, and I post pretty much daily there. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this session, and I hope to see you again next week when I said we're going to talk about collecting, the psychology behind collecting, and how to display your collection. So until then, I hope you have a wonderful week.